All right, welcome back to another episode of Prepper Talk Radio. We are super excited to bring to you some great information. We're going to have a fun episode today. We're going to talk about some things that are going to get everybody laughing, get everybody thinking, and it's going to be a little sassy and sarcastic probably, but we're going to have some fun. I just want to remind everybody to please like and subscribe our YouTube channel so that we can get to 1,000 subscribers so that we can start that our contest. We want to give away a Jase case, which is a full array of antibiotics catered just to you and to so we want to make sure that we get you to win that. You have to be subscribed to our YouTube channel and a member of our Facebook group, which is called Emergency Prep and Self-Reliance. And if you're a member of those two groups, you have a chance to win. Also, Shane recently kicked in a 5-ounce silver bar, and I was like, bro, are you kidding me? I want to win a 5-ounce silver bar. And
I'm subscribed.
Real money.
Yeah.
Real money.
If you want to win a Jase case and or a 5-ounce silver bar, make sure you're subscribed and you're in our Facebook group. So once we hit 1,000 people on our subscribe list for YouTube, we're going to make sure to do a random number generator, and we're going to find out who the winners are. So we're super excited to run that. It's December, so let's maybe that's what we can all do for if you want to give a gift to Prepper Talk Radio, give the gift of getting us to 1,000 subscribers so that we can get this contest kicked off for the new year. Today's episode is, are you ready for this? You can't fix stupid and you can't save everybody. And some of you have friends. If you listen to our last episode, we talked about what do you do to kind of get somebody excited about prepping? How do you really build them? I think that was the one before last. But anyways, this episode, we're going to talk about some of those people that you absolutely talk to and you're like, you know what? This guy is just not going to get it. There's no way to save him. Barring a 2x4 or maybe a 4x4 across the head, there's nothing that's going to save this or that person. You know what I mean? That's our topic of discussion today. So it was Scott's idea. So well,
it really comes down to this. Like there are certain people in your life that you love. You're trying to help them wake up. You're trying to help them get prepared. But at the end of the day, you've got to just realize it's time to cut the string. You've got to stop trying to save them because they are making zero effort to try to take ownership of their situation. And you have to create that solidified do or die moment of saying, okay, I've done everything I can to help you. I'm done. And if you show up at my house, you are not welcome. and to tag into that, you have to have the resolve to not help them.
Yeah. You gave them every chance. They didn't take it, and now you're done.
That could be the hard part. That could really be the hard part there for me.
Well, Noah got off easy. He had a year supply of everything.
Well, he had the choice made for him.
And then he had his family, and he tried for years to get people to repent and be worthy to get on the ship. And then the Lord's like, "Okay, get in the ship. We're going to seal it for you from the outside." The Lord and the angels, they sealed it up. So then when all the people come pounding on the walls, let us in, it's raining. You were kidding. It's raining. What do we do? He's like, I'm locked inside. I can't help you.
Yep.
We need to be able to be locked inside and not be able to help them because it will decrease everything you have for your family. And that will mean you just killed your kids.
I mean, it goes back to that idea that if you're going to go like a lifeguard, when a lifeguard goes out to save somebody, especially in the ocean, and that person is just flailing around and they're going crazy and they're not calming down, that person could literally kill the lifeguard too, or drown the lifeguard because they're just bringing them down. That's not the guy you want to have in your prep group. That's not the guy you want to have in your survival group. That's the guy that's going to be the one that's an idiot who's out, you go into the bathroom and steps on a twig when the enemy's, right there. And he's like, whoops. And they know exactly where you are and they take you out. So, you got to be careful with who you allow in. And sometimes that's hard because there are people that we love. There's friends, there's family members, there's brothers and sisters, there's coworkers that we just really, maybe in certain situations, we can have a real affinity towards them. But when it comes to the time where we need to just prepare and be ready, they can't be counted on. And that is not somebody, we got to be tough enough to say, you know what, I can't save you. You didn't do your part and sorry.
And I think we need to be, completely fair in that, including ourselves, our families, they've all been programmed. You know, Scott, you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. For our entire lives, my entire life, you know, I've been sat in front of that programming box and just drank it in, and it's not easy to disconnect from that and and break free and evolve, or whatever you want to call it. Stop from being so casual in life to taking life seriously. And so, I mean, that's the hard part. There is, there is a lot of stupid out there, no doubt. There's a lot of stupid out there, and there's a lot of programming out there that's just maybe even impossible for some people to overcome. And you got to know when to quit. On those people, which is a really hard decision for me. But some of the things that I've heard family and friends say make it really easy sometimes. I tell them about something, nothing that's too conspiracy minded or anything like that, and then they say, why so? And and they're like, seriously, you don't see anything wrong with what I've just said? And you got to take those clues and those hints as they come along, and then just kind of throw your hands up in the air at times.
There was a funny meme I just read today on Twitter, and it was a guy. He was saying, "Why I got the the in the arm the jab. I got the jab. I'm trying to be choose my words carefully because we don't want to get YouTube to give us a strike or anything. So I got the jab, but I got COVID worse than my friend who didn't get the jab. What the heck happened? Why is this? What's going on? I believe in all the science. I believe in everything that they're telling me, and I did everything I was supposed to do, but I got it worse. Like, what happened? Why did that happen? What's going on?" And it was almost like, I'm like, you really can't see what's right in front of you. Like, it was anyways, yeah, that goes to what you were saying, Shane.
Well, yeah. So the thing that irks me is, like, there are some people that'll do things and they'll think, okay, I've done enough. And then they'll be like, well, if something happens, I'll just bring what I have and come help you. And it's like, you have zero skills to help me.
Yeah.
Like, well, I've got a doctorate in this, and I can do all kinds of stuff. I'm like, theoretically, great, but none of those things apply. That's why, like, when we go back to the skills podcasts, it's so vital. To me, it's I would be willing to open my doors to someone who's in need 100% of the time, but I will not open my door to someone who knows better and chose not to. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Like, the people that are like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna get prepared, I'm gonna do this, and then they never actually do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that I'm like, I've tried to create urgency for you, I've tried to help you, I've sent you articles, I've sent you lists, I've tried to go through your gear with you, like, I've made this huge effort.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, well, I'll just go to, I'll call you when we're in trouble, we'll connect, or I'll go to my mom's house. And I'm like, oh, your mom is screwed.
Well,
like,
the thing is,
right?
they're waiting for a real reason, right? They don't necessarily see the reason right now because they're not looking. They're wrapped up in their worldly life or whatever, wrapped up in other things. And it's going to take something to shake them. And it's going to be too late. At that point, it's going to be too late.
Well, it's not like life insurance where you can just go buy a policy and it goes into effect the next day, right?
Right.
Prepping is really truly what life insurance should look like, because it's sustaining life. Life insurance, the product is here's a death payout, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's got like living benefits, like we can go into, like, it's a giant thing it could go into. But the key though is like, if you look at prepping, it's life insurance. It's insurance for if things go sideways. And I'd rather have the insurance policy than not. So that when things go sideways, as they have already in my life, and you guys have experienced the same things where, oh, well, we don't have enough money to buy the food we need this month. Oh, dip into my food storage. I'll replenish that later. That's what it's for. Right.
And the benefit, with life insurance or any insurance of any kind, you may just end up throwing that money into the wind, that currency into the wind, right? Because you may never reap any benefit from it. But purchasing a cupboard full of groceries, I mean, some things may go bad. You may throw a few things out here and there, but for the most part, if you're rotating and using it right, you're going to get every bit of value out of that, and maybe more, because especially now, things, because of inflation, things are costing more in the future. You buy things now, you've saved money in the future. So it's so much better than any kind of insurance.
What's interesting is that our whole society has just really been put on this treadmill and program of let the government take care of you. Somebody else will do it for you. And it's really sad to me when you think about, and I love church. I go to church, and our church has a great program for welfare. But sometimes even that can be too depend. Like, we depend upon the church, we depend upon the government, we depend upon too many things. And that's what being self-reliant is, to not depend on those things. Yeah. However, right? Recognizing using those things when necessary. Like, there was a time in my life where I had a really hard time, and financially, economically, I was on food stamps. I literally had to depend on the government, and I'm grateful that that was there. There was a time when I had to go to my church to get groceries for my family. But as soon as I was self-reliant, as soon as I was back on my feet, I gave back to the church, and I give to the church so that others can have. I gave my EBT card, I gave my food stamp card back to the government. It was kind of funny when they told me, you're giving us back to us? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I don't need it anymore. I make enough money. I can support myself. I wasn't going to be a leech. I wasn't going to continue to like fudge the numbers so I could keep getting the benefits. I wanted to be self-reliant. And that was something that gives me character, gives me honor, makes me feel good. And when I talk to some people, like, no, man, we're going to run this into we're going to be on welfare for the rest of our lives. And they're like, it boggles my mind when people are, they have tattoos all over, and they have, gold on their teeth, and they have all these whatever fancy clothes, and they're like, oh, they whip out their EBT card. I'm like, where did you get the money for all that stuff? Why don't you use that for your food? Like, because they literally count on the government. And that's one of the things that when the crap hits the fan, it's not an if, it's when the government shuts things down and EBT cards aren't available, that's going to cause a huge frenzy. Now, we're not going to get too much into conspiracy theories, but I genuinely, it's in the scriptures. A collapse is in the scriptures. It's, if you believe the Bible, you're going to know that this is what I'm saying is true. It's going to happen, and it's just a matter of when. So that's part of the deal, is that if people are so dependent on the government, and then the government collapses or the economy collapses, one of the first things that's going to happen is a frenzy and a mass hysteria and total chaos. And then the government can come in with new programs and say, oh, we're going to give you new programs. We're going to take care of you. And then everybody's like, oh, yes, we will gladly give our freedoms for safety today. That's the first step to tyranny. That's the first. That's not the first step. That's never a good idea.
Yeah, never a good idea.
And again, these people, and I mean, again, putting ourselves in that class to some extent, it's programming. They've been programmed. It used to be where if you were on food stamps, it was embarrassing. You did everything you could to get off that quickly, and to even not take it, because it's embarrassing. And nowadays it's hey, look what I can get. Look what I can get for free, without any and it's not free. I mean, we could talk about that too, but there are.
What I don't have to pay for.
Exactly. Yeah. Right now, look what you're paying for me. Right. Look what everybody else is paying for me, or look what they're printing. Right. For me. So, yeah, it's and again, like you were saying, Parrish, with the church as well. They're just short term. It's to fill in the gaps while you dig yourself out of a hole, because we've all done that. We've all been there, needed that kind of help, and needed a little bit of support while we dig ourselves out. And that's life. That's why those programs exist. Although the government programs should not be there at all. It should be up to churches and private organizations, right?
And
what's interesting is the Hopi Indians, and this is kind of part of where our government kind of came from, is the Hopi Indians do everything by household, family, lodge, which is community, and then nation, and their nation is really localized tribe, and then it goes to the next level. So it's like if you need help, you go to your family, and if your family can't help you, it's not enough, then you go to your local lodge, your community, right? And it's like boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, they have such tight bonds because they've done that and they work together. And it's like, they find out what everyone's weaknesses are and what their strengths are, and they help each other play to the strengths. And it's like, in a perfect world scenario, like we all would love to have Zion today, and you go in there and you see your neighbor hungry, and you just go feed him, right? But you know that if something happens for you, they're going to help you out too.
Mm-hmm.
The problem we have in society right now is people don't want to help each other out as much as we would hope.
Yeah, there's
right?
so much.
There are some people that are just takers.
Mm-hmm.
And I know everyone listening to that is like, oh, so-and-so, they're a total taker. Oh, my brother-in-law. Oh, my neighbor Karen. Oh, blah, blah. I feel sorry for every lady named Karen now because of that whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, we all have someone we know. And it's like, there's a point where it's just, you just can't do anything else for them.
Yep.
And that's why this episode's about that. It's like, there are people in your life that you just have to understand and realize you can't help. And that you're going to spend a ton of time if you continue to go down that road trying to help them, which you're enabling them not prepping. You're enabling them to not prep by, oh, well, I'll just go get them another gift, or I'll get them another 6 months of wheat. Oh, maybe you are helping them, but do they know how to process the wheat? Do they know how to do anything with it? No.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I think
you come take care of it.
And the other aspect of that is those who are wishy-washy, who go halfway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe call them the casual prepper, right? Maybe they call themselves a prepper, but you and I, those of us who are really believe, like what you're saying, Paris, we really believe in the scriptures. We really believe what's going to happen, and we take it with all seriousness, and we're not casual whatsoever. So, doesn't make any sense to be casual at all. I mean, is it all or nothing? And yes, a little bit will help you here and there, but in the end, does it make sense to not just be, all in?
Seriously. I think a lot of people too, you have to realize that you can only spend an hour one way, and there's an opportunity cost to that hour. And if you're trying to change in sales, it was an analogy that they would use is that if I gave you a deck of cards, of 52 cards, and I told you to find the aces in that deck of 52 cards, would you waste any time trying to convince the 2 to be an ace? Would you waste any time trying to convince the queen to be an ace? No, because in that 52, there's 4 aces, and you're just going to burn through till you find the 4 aces. There's people in your life right now that want to prepare. They want to know what to do. They want to know how to get their food storage, their water storage. They want to know what gear to get. They want to know what skills to learn first. There's people that want to, and you're over here trying to convince a 2 to be an ace. Stop it. That's part of the whole process as well, is stop trying to convince people to do something that they're not going to do. So you recognize, look, you're right now the person themselves has value. Every person has value as a being, right? But right now they're being an idiot. And so you can say, look, you're being an idiot right now. I can't deal with you. I'm going to go find the ace and I'm going to teach that guy. And maybe someday you'll on your own turn into an ace, and then I'll bring you in. But you just got to find the right people now. Don't waste your time on people that aren't ready or aren't going to be ready for a while. Find the people that are ready now. Harvest in the scriptures, it talks about harvesting the wheat that's ready now, and wait for the rest of them to kind of mature and do their thing. And then hopefully maybe down the road, something will happen and they'll come to you and say, by the way, I kind of realized what you were trying to tell me last year. I want to get ready now.
It's funny because I've got family who have reached out recently, just a couple weeks ago, and they're like, hey, we're thinking about doing this, 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 and this. And I'm like, awesome. And I was like, I would absolutely 100% do this, skip that, and then this, 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 and this. And the reason I'm telling you to skip that is because X, Y, Z. And they're like, oh my gosh, thank you for the well thought out response. But they just sent me an email. And I knew they were kind of into prepping, just a little bit. But now I'm like, wow, they're really trying to get organized. They're really trying to get this taken care of. And I was like, that's the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When they reach out to you, like throw out nuggets all the time to everybody. Like, oh yeah, we just thought about this, and it's such a great idea to have that emergency kit, or such a great idea. We're not worried, but we think there's a chance this could happen, so we went ahead and took care of that. And they'll, the people that are like, that's interesting. Those are the ones you can then help, right? The people that are like, oh, you're so dumb. Those ones you can't, right? cut the line. You're not going to angle that fish. You're not getting it in.
Well, here's the other side of that as well, or not another side, but just another aspect. The individual who I've got one individual in particular who asks me questions on a regular basis when we meet. He says, "Yeah, I need to do this. Yeah, I need to do that." 2-3 years later, nothing's been done. Right?
Oh yeah.
Nothing has been done. But they see, yeah, we should do that, and I don't know what it is. It's if it's stupidity or what.
Well, it's like your friend that needed a generator, wanted a generator, talked about a generator for years, but then he got a generator.
And how do you feel about that purchase?
Actually took action on it.
Yeah, who was that guy anyway?
I don't remember, but he's legit awesome.
Yeah, he took action finally.
Well, it's also I've got a neighbor who asks me questions all the time, and I think just like any of us, our means are limited. We can't just go out and do everything all at once. Mm-hmm. And one of the comments that they made was, "Man, this is a little overwhelming. This is like I can see everything I've got to do, and man, it's just yeah, I'm with you. I've been there. I'm still there. I've got a long list of things that need to be done. I'm just whittling away at them one at a time. I'm taking it seriously. It's not a casual pursuit for me.
Yeah, you're prioritizing things. It's like, okay, I've got funds, so I can do this now. Okay, this is the most important thing that I do. Boom, got it. I got my
cruise. You got to go on that cruise. That's important. You got to take that vacation.
I've got my structure for shelter. That's knocked out. It's taken care of. I've got my backup structure for shelter. That's knocked out. That's taken care of. I've got my water. Okay, that's knocked out. That's taken care of. I've got my water filtration and a method to capture more water. Okay, that's knocked out. That's taken care of. I've got my first aid kits. I know how to use them, right? Prioritization, like focus on those things first. Then get your food storage and start expanding it week by week. Oh, we're going to the store. We're getting the stuff. Oh, grab one more thing of this. Grab 5. Oh, there's a sale. Let's buy 17 more. We've got wiggle room in the budget. I didn't go out to eat this week, right? Like focus on those little things, and don't be like, here's the giant list of everything I need to do and look at it every day. Just, okay, here's the list of everything I need to do. And here's the priority right now that I'm working on, and take that priority off the list and put it on your notebook that you take with you, or put it, on your mirror, and put the rest of the list away until that's taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Once that's taken care of, then you move to the next one. Like, oh, I should build an app that sends a text to you, or sends you a notification. Focus on this first. Yeah. And then once they finish that, they can mark it off. Boom. And then it sends them the next thing. Focus on this now. Boom, boom, boom. That would be so, I don't know. Maybe tell me in the comments, guys, tell me if you think that'd be helpful, like for us to create that. Like I've got a guy that could actually turn on an app like that for us. Like
it can be used for anything other than just, not just prepping, but
yeah.
I want to talk about something you said earlier, Scott, about, still keep people on your list, maybe to give them some trickle information. There's so much going on in the news around the world right now that is plenty of 2x4 it to the face type of material. I mean,
is there something right here? Can you see anything? Right,
it doesn't hurt much here,
but right
there. Because literally, I watched this YouTube. It was a Twitter post about China. They're literally locking people down. Like I saw this dude welding a door shut, and they said the caption was, "COVID people are not obeying COVID restrictions, so they're welding the door so people stay in the building." I'm like, now we're not China, thankfully, in the United States. We have some listeners probably from China. We have listeners all over the world, actually, thankfully. Thank you for listening, by the way. But if you have a chance to share something on your timeline real quick, hey, by the way, did you see this guy? Imagine being locked in your house and not having any food storage. Imagine, and another thing that's happening in China is if they haven't taken their PCR test in a certain number of days, their phone locks up. And they can't get access to their bank accounts or their phone, and they can't do anything. They have to literally go down, take their PCR test, and then the government unlocks their phone so they can go about their day-to-day business, buy groceries, et cetera, et cetera.
They just relaxed that a little bit here recently, and everybody's questioning what the methods are. So yeah, some people, and hopefully we don't get tagged on any of this stuff, but some people I've had to take a PCR every day for the past 3 years. And people are starting to see, well, it's been 3 days. I haven't had to take one. Wow, this is great. What's the reason why it's, there's always ulterior motives when it comes to that particular location, that government.
The reality is we have a plenty of information nowadays for people to wake up, and it still boggles my mind that they're not waking up. So yeah, it's okay to, every once in a while, maybe shoot that guy a text message or shoot him a little Facebook message or a DM him. Hey, by the way, did you see what's happening over here? Boy, sure would be good to be prepared, man. If that ever happened here, would be this and the other. And of course, they're going to write it up. Well, that's China. That's not here. That's some other country. That's not here. But yeah, we got to learn from the experiences of others. Like if it's happening somewhere in the world, it can happen anywhere in the world. And so it's just important to kind of keep them on a trickle, but focus on the people that are ready now. Don't waste your time on people. Here's another great thing to do. Like literally, this is probably the thing that I would highly recommend the most that you do for those people. Every time we drop an episode, shoot them the link. Shoot them the link to listen to our episodes. We'll be more than happy to tell them. You can shoot them this episode. Well, maybe not this episode, but you can shoot them an episode that says, we'll tell them you're an idiot. And get your act together, dude, or else you're going to be in a bad place before it's too late. Get in a good place before it's too late. You don't want to be that guy that's like, whoops.
Yeah, I find that works really well. I'll send a copy a link and send them a link, and if they look at it, great. If they don't, fine. If they're interested, then if not, they're not blocking me or anything like that. So keep it on the low key, on the low down.
Right.
Well, that's I think to finalize it really is like you're not like ending a friendship. You're not kicking someone out of your life. You're just it's like the philosophy in the scriptures that talks about don't cast your pearls before swine. Like stop investing the time and energy to try to explain everything to someone and get them to do something because they're not going to do it. They've shown no interest in doing it. They've done nothing you've told them to do. They're not doing anything. Maybe even they're just making fun of you for it. Right. Move on.
Yep.
Like that field, as Paris, you said earlier, it's not ready to harvest. Maybe there's nothing there to harvest. Go focus on the fields that'll grow.
Yep. And harvest those. I think it's important to remember that everyone has value. Everyone needs to be loved in some way or another. And one of the things that I do is like, if I'm reaching out to somebody and there's no reciprocation, that's a law, the law of reciprocation. If you're putting out and no one's putting back, that's time to reevaluate that relationship, and no matter what it's about, whether it's prepping or if it's just regular old friendship, traditional friendship. Like if they're not giving back or putting into the relationship as much as you are, maybe it's time for you to back off a little bit and match what they're doing, and then see if that even flourishes. And if it may or may not, sometimes the best thing we can do for ourselves is to minimalize and cut bait and cut dead weight. And find out what we can do to help people. And what's interesting is that my mom used to always tell me the funniest thing. He says, when somebody starts talking to you about something that you don't really agree with, or you're just trying to get through the conversation, she says, just smile and nod your head.
Yep.
So if you're listening to this and you're talking to me at some point in the future and I'm just smiling and nodding my head, that's your warning. This is your warning.
It goes both ways too. If you see them smiling, nodding their head at you at the things you're talking about, you know when to move on, right?
True.
That's awesome. Any last words, guys?
Nope, I'm good.
Well, we're going to wrap up this episode. And, our goal was to keep these episodes to 30 to 45 minutes. And this particular topic we just hit it right at 30 minutes. That looks like a good one. You guys remember you want to keep your good friends who are reciprocating, and you want to be able to spend your time. The reality is spend your time with the people who are going to give you the greatest value in your life. Don't get rid of people, so to speak. Don't be angry or mean or frustrated. Don't be rude. Don't be somebody that's going to, cut people off in a rude way, but you can slowly just kind of back away, slowly move a different direction. And eventually that you'll just naturally kind of separation, and let it happen. And always be kind and always be thoughtful if they come back to you. Because I promise you, if you're a good person and you're kind and you're intelligent and you're wise and you're constantly providing value, someday that person will remember you and your life, and they'll say, you know what? I want to know more about. They might be ready. It might be 3 years down the road. They're finally ready. They'll reach out to you and say, hey, by the way, I remember you used to talk about this. Are you still into it? Because I finally ready. I finally get it. And I know you're the guy that I used to talk about this. And I want to have your help now. You never know when they're going to come back. So always keep the bridge. Don't burn the bridge. Keep it open, and do your best to love and help everybody. Because that's what a truly self-reliant person can do and should be doing, is somebody who's strong enough to stand on their own, but recognizes the power of having community and working together synergistically with others. So thank you so much for listening. Make sure to go to our website, preppertalkradio.com. Make sure to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Make sure to join our Facebook group, Emergency Prep and Self-Reliance. If you go to our Facebook page, which is Prepper Talk Radio, there's a section that says, you can see it says more, click on that. And then it says groups, click on that. And then you can go right straight to our group from that as well, if you don't want to do the whole search thing. So thanks a bunch, guys. And we'll see you on the next episode.